CEO of Kirunda Group Corporation. I want to thank you guys for joining me for another episode. We're here every Thursday to give you guys back knowledge in terms of entrepreneurship, business, real estate, anything that relates to finances, money. That's what we focus on in this channel. But if you have questions or comments, please like or subscribe to this. Give us a thumb up, talking to our audience and what you like, what you don't like. We appreciate all the feedback. We will be having, I want to make sure I will give this announcement. We will still be having our real estate seminar, but due to obviously circumstances that we can't control, we have to just make sure that we push that a little further out because obviously we need to book a place. But we will let you know in terms of dates, release, and this is going to be a great resource for yourself. So hopefully you guys find that, download it and buy it. It'll be great for you and your family. So one of today's topic is really something that I want to focus on because it doesn't really relate to money. It really relates to mindset. Today, I really want to focus on a mindset. I want to really help if I can. So again, please like, subscribe. If you have anything that you want to share, don't panic. Don't panic. So why, you need to understand, why do people react like the way they do in an epidemic or a pandemic? You need to understand that mindset. It's one of those very important things to understand because it can really help you in so many different ways in terms of your life and on top in terms of money, in terms of everything, is the mindset. So today's mindset I need to understand is don't panic. Don't ever panic. Now, yes, we're going through first it started as the epidemic with the coronavirus. And the epidemic is pretty much just localized, state or city or something like that. And then it turned into a pandemic, which is global, national, large scale. So, but people need to understand why people react like the way they do when an epidemic happens or when a pandemic happens. You need to understand two things. First of all, you can't fight the snow, you can't fight the sun, you can't fight it. All you can do is learn from it. So nature, you can't fight it. That's one thing you need to understand. You can't fight what you can't control. So you need to understand how to control pretty much yourself. Now, one of the things that people are doing is panicking, especially when it comes to a deadly disease or virus or epidemic or pandemic, whatever it is, people panic. And that's the worst. That's one of the worst things you can do in terms of those things, because now you're thinking more back to nature. Now, nature has a way of playing tricks on you. So our brain is really an old brain. It's not a new brain. Yes, we have new technology, but our brain is still old. It's still functioning back in the caveman days. You need to understand that. So when you start thinking like, okay, back in the day, and I run back out, you most likely going to run also. It's called a herd mentality. So if I run to the bush by myself, you don't run with me, it's obviously not even a question, but people instinctively, in terms of danger, follow others. So when there's an epidemic or a pandemic or your credit goes bad or you lose something, people get emotional and their action follows emotions. And then what they're doing is pretty much not focusing, they're just reacting. They're panicking. So when someone panics, they make the wrong decision. It's almost guaranteed. It's about 60-70%. Do the reading. When you panic, you're most likely gonna make a 60-70% chance the wrong decision because you're thinking instinctively back to that old brain that we talked about in caveman days. So you're running by the person without thinking of anything. It's just a herd mentality. So when people go and start buying large amounts of paper towels or canned foods or whatever, rice and beans, what they're doing is they're following their herd mentality. They're saying, oh, he's doing that, I need to make sure I get that. It's a herd mentality without really thinking about the actions. They're just blowing money or throwing money because they think I need to stock stuff up. So you need to understand that your mindset needs to change from that don't panic to plan, or to not react, but to think first. Not to react, but think first. So a lot of people have that mentality. It's called FOMO, FOMO, or fear of missing out. So when a new technology comes out, or let's say Bitcoin came out, people started buying it, and other people started buying the same thing because of FOMO. They think I'm gonna lose out, so I need to buy and get more. And people sold their houses, people sold their cars to buy more Bitcoin. It's that simple. So people made that reaction because it's a herd mentality. So same thing with the panic or Corona. People are panicking and people are running to the stores and grabbing everything on the shelves when they really don't need to do that. It's just a reaction that they're following the herd. I'm going to give you some steps on what to really do for yourself, but you need to make sure you don't follow the herd mentality. That's almost number one. The second thing that you can understand in terms of the brain on why people are survival, it's your brain is made to survive, not to make you rich, not to make you feel good, not to all that stuff is small compared to what the brain's main function is to for you to survive as long as possible. As I mean, that brain's job is to push you on in terms of length of life, because you want to procreate, it wants to keep going. So understand that danger or survival is another thing that people do when there's a pandemic or epidemic. When you think about, if you think about, something crashes and you jump, that's the same mentality. Think danger and survival. Yes, like the previous episode I did last week about how to succeed during a crisis. Those steps you can follow to succeed. But today, if you're focused on danger and survival, once you have all those steps I mentioned in the previous episode, you're fine. You don't need to worry about that. That's like the, let's say, I always compare it back to the caveman days. If you knew you're going to be in a cave for 3 or 4 months or 6 months, pretty much what we're doing right now, which is social distancing and quarantining, meaning you're gonna be in that cave for a long time. When you go out to kill something or to get something, you're gonna want to get you either have an option of getting a wildebeest or a rabbit. If you're gonna be in the cave for a long time, you're gonna go after the wildebeest. So that's the paper towels and the toilet paper, because it's so big you think it's gonna last you forever. But that is your brain malfunctioning back to that old caveman days. So don't think like the way the people are following, the same method of everyone else. Don't follow that same method. Understand, okay, yes, there's danger in terms of the virus, getting it and dying. Survival, which means you want to procreate, want to stay as long as possible. But right now, what you need to do is fight, not flight. So meaning people need to stop things. Once they get those certain things lined up, it's easy. Once it's not panicking, you're actually not reacting like the general public. So meaning you're reacting instead of planning, instead of. So understand your cognitive bias. You need to fight that. You need to fight yourself. So what can you do? The first thing, like I said, this name of this episode is called "Don't Panic." So don't panic. If anything happens when your house is on fire, you shouldn't panic. Your house is on fire, but if you panic, you see firemen and policemen, when it comes to danger, they don't panic, because when you panic, you make the wrong decision. You automatically make 70, 80, 90% of the time, you're gonna make a wrong decision. So if you don't panic, what you're gonna do is you're gonna have time to plan, to think, to really reason about it. Think, okay, the house is on fire. How can I put this fire out? Fire extinguishers over here. I call the fire department. I can get a hose over here. You could actually reason things instead of panicking and just running. Same thing with these epidemics. Don't panic and don't follow the crowd. So the second thing you do is you have to be thoughtful in terms of your instincts. So if everyone is going to buy a bunch of toilet paper, let them buy the toilet paper. Don't worry, the factories will make plenty more. If you think food's going to run out of the shelves, or the Star Market or Stop and Shop, wherever you shop, don't think like that. You have to think actually the opposite, because most likely you can always get food. We live in a first world country. If you live in a third world, so you can't follow the herd mentality. Let them get their food. Let them stock up their shelves, and people will stock the shelves back up, and you can get your stuff whenever everyone's already filled to the gut with their stuff. Don't follow that mentality. So the third thing you do is understand that the government is going to most likely going to help the situation. So you panicking is not going to do anything. So if you think that, I need to hoard something, yes, you could do that, but understand that the government most likely will bail everyone out, will help everyone out. There's a bill coming out talking about giving everyone $1,000 or $2,000. Stay open. They have those things already lined up. Giving MREs, meaning giving food out, or having restaurants donate their food. All those things are available. So understand, don't think in small terms. Think larger scales. Yes, there's a pandemic. Yes, there's epidemic, but think larger in terms of you are protected. You're pretty much covered. If you have food, shelter, and water, you're pretty much covered. You're set. You're going to be fine. And the fifth thing here is make sure that you take advantage of the situation also. That's why my previous episode was really about how to succeed during a crisis. This one was really more focused on don't panic and getting your mindset right. But you need to make sure you take advantage of the situation, because most likely this situation will not happen again. Period. I can almost guarantee, I can put money on this will never happen again where this much panic happens. So you need to take full advantage of it. Whether that's in terms of expanding your business, whether that's learning a new skill, whether that's getting more time with your family. Maybe you're away for a while. Understand that those connections help. Maybe contacting people on social media that you might be interested in contact and doing business with in the future. Reaching out to LinkedIn people, writing articles, writing a book, writing something for yourself, putting together a course, just taking care of your body in terms of home workouts. There's so many ways you can take advantage of this situation, and people are not. People most likely going to be on Netflix chilling, or doing something that's not productive. But you need to be different. So you need to understand that you listen to this podcast, and I try to give back as much knowledge as I can, is don't panic, improve yourself. Don't panic, improve yourself. The situation will be fine. Understand this. Most likely the media is propagating a bunch of bad news because it sells. It sells more. It's more enticing. People more like to click, all that stuff. So don't follow the crowd. That's number one. Don't be part of the herd mentality. And number two is make sure you focus more on expansion and improving yourself. And yes, there's danger, but as long as you take care of yourself, you'll survive. You'll actually prosper in this situation. All right. So, guys, until next Thursday, I appreciate you guys. We're here every Thursday to drop knowledge in terms of business, finance, credit, entrepreneurship. If you have questions, comments, please drop them off wherever you listen to this, whether that's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or iTunes, wherever you listen to this. Please leave a comment, like, or subscribe, or give us a 5-star. And we appreciate every single one of you guys. Until next Thursday, I'll see you at the top.